please call roll to confirm a quorum.
Here.
Present.
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 Present. We do have a quorum. If everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There are no presentations and awards or personal appearances tonight, so we'll move right on to staff reports. Questions of staff? Thank you. Report for the questions of staff? Thank you.
Peterson has agreed to so as not to intrude too much on the council's time. He will be here Monday night, November 30th, to, I have informed him that the council had best if the presentation was educational as far as the challenges of the site in question, but he also recognizes that there will be a little bit of time for him to perhaps drill down a little bit more specifically to his project after he has done that. I know that he does plan on using some different portions of different media presentations to address the council on the issue. The December 7th work session currently has the ballot language and bond project schedule associated with it. The annex group will also be back, so that'll be a very good timing put together. They've actually, from the council's input last week, they have several items that they are planning on bringing forth as far as what they heard from the council and the second stage of the plan, if you will, which will more than likely actually have white lines on it now for where they're anticipating rooms to be associated, so that the council can begin input and conversation on that as well. And then those are currently the items that are scheduled for that evening. Last but not least, for the public's sake, because I believe he's introduced himself to most of the council members that he could, to my right is Mr. Jonathan Zur. As I'd written the council, Joe Willard had a conflict this evening, so Jonathan is here joining us for this particular council meeting. Jonathan appears on a regular basis on stage here in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission. So we appreciate having him, and that concludes staff reports, sir.
Questions of staff? Thank you. Moving on, I'll entertain a motion to dispose of the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the consent agenda to include items A, City Council minutes for the November 9, 2015 meeting, the final acceptance of the 58 Highway Improvements Project referencing Resolution 15-54, and item C, the final acceptance of the 2015 Sidewalk Gap Project referencing Resolution 15-56.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Move on to unfinished business. May we have the second reading of Bill 3117 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3117 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, amending Chapter 105, Section 105.060, Declaration of Candidacy Form of the Raymore City Code.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve Bill 3117, amending City Code Section 105.060 regarding the declaration of candidacy form.
Second.
There is a motion and a second to approve Bill 3117. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. May we have the second reading of Bill 3118 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3118 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, amending Chapter 110, Section 110.010, Qualifications of Mayor of the Raymore City Code.
I'll entertain motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve Bill 3118, amending City Code Section 110.010 regarding qualifications of the mayor.
Second.
There is a motion and a second to approve Bill 3118. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. May we have the second reading of Bill 3119 by title only, please?
The second reading of Bill 3119 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, amending Chapter 110, Section 110.120, Qualifications of Council Members of the Raymore City Code.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve Bill 3119, amending City Code Section 110.120 regarding qualifications of council members.
Second.
There is a motion and a second to approve the second reading of Bill 3119. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Move on to new business. The first is liquor license application. So I'll open the public hearing and ask for a reading.
And you're looking right at the correct person, sir.
Okay.
So I would call on Ms. Werner.
Thank you. Jack Hopkins, on behalf of Combank Development 1 LLC, doing business as Gulf Express, located at 715 West Foxwood Drive, has filed an application for a 2015-16 liquor license. The applicant has met the city code requirements and staff recommends approval. Approval to obtain the license from the City of Raymore is subject to state requirements. Staff recommends approval of the application, and the applicant is in the audience should the council have any questions.
Okay, I'll open the floor for public comment. Please identify yourself for the record and keep your comments to under 5 minutes. I'll close the public hearing. And I'll ask for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the liquor license application for Combank Development 1 LLC, doing business as Gulf Express.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the liquor license. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. The next is Livable Streets Policy, Resolution 1555, and I've heard from a couple of council members that they'd like to remand this to a work session, table it and remand it to a work session. So if somebody'd like to motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd move that we remove Resolution 15-55 regarding the Livable Streets Policy from tonight's agenda to have it moved to a work session that available per staff scheduling.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to table the Resolution 1555 to a work session. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Move on to Bill 3121. We have the first reading of Bill 3121 by title only, please.
The first reading of Bill 3121 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, approving an agreement between Cricket Communications LLC and the City of Raymore, Missouri to terminate the lease and transfer equipment.
I'll entertain a motion,
Mr. Mayor, point of order, ask for a staff report.
or staff report, sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would ask that Ms. Watson please make staff report.
Thank you, sir. The City of Raymore entered into a lease agreement with Cricket Communications in June of 2006. The current lease is set to expire in June 2016. A Cricket Wireless representative contacted staff to inform them that they will no longer be interested in continuing in that lease. What is before you is an agreement offering to pay the city $15,000 as a pay and walk fee. This agreement would transfer the communication equipment that is on the tower to the city.
Questions of staff? Thank you.
Just to inform the council also, of course, approval of this, should the council approve it, all of the equipment that is current, this particular tower, or this particular equipment is located on the Elm Street Tower. If you've been by the Elm Street Tower recently, you'll notice that it's actually a lot of rust that is now in the shape of a tower. Cindy is Miss Watson is also in communication with T-Mobile, the other provider, wireless provider that has equipment on that tower. What we would like to see if they would entertain is the possibility of erecting right next to the tower one of the new pole towers, like what you see just south of the South Metro Station. A little bit more aesthetically pleasing. It would allow us to then clean up the grounds around there and remove that tower, which sooner or later will actually be kind of a health and safety issue as we continue to go on. So we are in negotiation to try to do that. T-Mobile has expressed an interest in continuing that agreement for some time to come, so we're hoping they're amenable to it. Just thought I'd follow that up with the staff report. That concludes staff reports, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve Bill 3121 regarding the Cricket Wireless Cell Tower Termination and Equipment Transfer Agreement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the first reading of 3121. Is there any discussion? Sonia?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a quick question that's maybe kind of silly, actually, but I'm curious. What is the approximate value of the equipment that they are leaving? Is there any value to it?
Interestingly, yes, there is. From salvage value alone, the equipment that is actually located on the tower can be salvaged out for a goodly amount of money when we go to local go auctions. The other piece of equipment that's more valuable than we actually thought is the sheds that are at the bottom of them, because each of them have an equipment shed that's actually located at the bottom of the tower. Those have a very good value and can actually be we've actually reused one and had other people approach us about using those. So there is an intrinsic value to that equipment.
Any other discussion? Okay, there is a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. That takes care of new business. I'll move on to public comments. Anybody from the public like to make comment, please identify yourself to the record and keep the comments for under 5 minutes. Seeing no one, I'll move to the Mayor Council communication. And this evening we'll begin with Councilmember Holman.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to start off by saying welcome to Mr. Zer. It's been a long time since I've seen him. I believe I was on the Planning and Zoning Board the last time I saw him, and we saw him a lot more frequently. So it's good to see you back, and glad to have you here. Second, I always try and recognize the students in the audience. We have a number of them tonight. I actually told the last group that they were getting a huge bargain at under 45 minutes, and you're going to wrap this up in less than 20. So I don't know if that's better for you or harder for the assignment, but thanks for coming tonight. I hope you got a little something out of this. And the third thing I have is wanted to recognize Mr. Mustine and the Parks and Rec Department in Miss Watson's budget report in the packet. I read with great interest kind of where the projections were leading with Parks and Rec. A couple things that caught my eye were rentals of park houses and shelters finished at 170.77% of budget, 4,160 higher than last year. Revenues of rec programs were up as well, about $38,000. Don't care about the money, but that shows to me that our citizens are very interested in those programs. They're interested in using those rental houses, and you guys are doing the right things. Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
Councilmember Hubach.
Nothing tonight.
Councilmember Abdel-Gawad.
I don't have anything tonight either, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Barber.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Councilmember Stevens.
No comments tonight.
Councilmember Moorhead.
Oh, I'm gonna break this trend.
Keep it to under 3 minutes.
I'll keep it
okay?
to under 3 minutes. It'll be difficult. No. First of all, to Mr. Zur, thank you for being here tonight. I will say that we cheated you. We will have to have you back on a more contentious night with a lot of rule questions and stuff like that. So I do want to also welcome our new Gulf Express. It pains me to not have my coffee on my route to work, which will now be there, so I'm excited. You have an enthusiastic new customer. I had the opportunity to participate in the Benton House ribbon cutting a little over a week ago. Had a wonderful experience there. That's a neat facility. I would encourage everybody who sees this along the access road there. It's a really nice facility, although I did have to tell them it was nice, but if my kids were here, they'd try to put me in it. So I'm glad I didn't take them. And then I really just have to go back and commend the city and staff for our Veterans Day celebration and the Hannah Station dedication. My father could not make it that night, and I took him up there. And my father was a city councilman in the early 80s, and he would talk to me a lot about the history of just the city hall used to be one block south of that in a little building that's now torn down. So just the growth of this city and the opportunity to remember the history of our community at the same time as that progress and growth is just kind of a neat thing. So, and if you haven't driven by it at night, it's wonderful to see lit up. And although my son, who's 12, asked me, I said, he goes, "Is this it?" And I said, I was talking about how great this was. He goes, "Well, if there was only like a secret door underneath it, he had to take it out in left field." But it's such a neat little place out there. So I hope everybody stops to see it. So I'm under 3 minutes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There you go.
Councilmember Kellogg is not here this night, so the last one is Councilmember Burke.
No comment this evening. Thank you.
All right. I will echo the comments of the council member of the Veterans Day celebration. It's very well done. And we have a reason to go into executive session this evening for litigation matters as authorized by 610-021, subparent 1. I'll entertain a motion to do so.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we go to executive session.
We have a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Abdel-Gawad,
Yes.
Councilmember Barber.
Yes.
Councilmember Burke,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman.
Yes.
Councilmember Hubach.
Yes.
Councilmember Kellogg absent. Councilmember Moorhead.
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens.
Yes.
All right, we're going to go into executive session. We'll reconvene just to dismiss. Thank you.